is recognized.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing us to switch order earlier. Look, all students deserve to learn in an environment free from discrimination, sex-based harassment, bullying, and it's critical that our schools have the tools and responsibility to provide that environment. The Department of Education's Title IX rule is critical to ensuring that the department enforces the rights of women, survivors of sexual violence, and LGBTQI+ students. So the rule pushes colleges and universities to better address cases of discrimination and harassment, and it clarifies that Title IX protects LGBTQI+ students with its promise of gender equality. The rule is realistic in that it contains important exceptions and other flexibility that gives schools the leeway necessary to appropriately comply with Title IX, and none of this should be controversial or complicated. Ranking Member Scott, I've just got a couple questions here. We're talking about a CRA, right? So the entire rule would be gutted and the administration could not revisit it for a period of time. Is that right?
Couldn't revisit, the present administration, future administrations couldn't visit it, and you'd be stuck with the 2020 rule.
Okay.
Because you would have eliminated the recent rule and you're stuck with the 2020 rule.
Okay, so does the Biden administration's Title IX rule strengthen protections for student survivors, making it easier for survivors to report sexual misconduct and prevent schools from ignoring reports of sexual misconduct?
They make several improvements, one of which in the 2020 rule that would go into effect if this were to pass and eliminate the recent rule, says if it happens off campus, the college can ignore it, even though technically off campus, a lot of students are participating in student activities. Off campus, you can just ignore those altogether. The number of employees who have to make reports is limited in the old report. That would be reinstated. The present rule requires you to have timely hearings. You can't just string the thing out. I mean, there are a lot of improvements, and it has an anti-retaliation provision.
Okay, so it clarifies that higher ed institutions can't ignore off-campus problems, and it says that they can't just turf these complaints. Does the rule also ensure that sex discrimination and sexual harassment claims don't have to have higher standards of proof compared to other harassment claims?
The old rule allowed you to have different standards. This says you should have the same standard as others. Okay. So if you're proving sexual harassment, you should have the same based on other factors, race, religion, and whatnot. Okay. You shouldn't have a higher standard for sex. Okay,
and does this rule ensure that pregnant and parenting students have equal educational opportunities and are not discriminated against?
And failure to give them equal opportunity would constitute discrimination.
Okay, so I just wanted to be clear that House Republicans are willing to get rid of this rule, leaving student survivors of sexual assault less protected, leaving pregnant students less protected, and just to target transgender students, presumably. So it really appears to be about bigotry, plain and simple. Trans students exist. They are subject to discrimination. We need to protect them as well. They're not going to be removed from public life, and you shouldn't be supporting things to remove them from our schools. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter signed by dozens of organizations, including women, medical professionals, LGBTQ rights organizations, labor organizations, sports organizations, and others, all opposing HJ Res 165.
Without objection.
Thank you. I yield back.